All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I want to welcome you all back. So we're going to get started with our morning analysis, but before we do so, got a couple of comments. Mashari said, I really wish that you shorted the Aussie New Zealand with me yesterday. Now it's 150 pips down in shorter's favor. Well, actually, it's only dropped about 50 pips, or maybe 45, so that tells me you're short 3 lots, and it's only dropped about 45 pips. But I don't short the Aussie New Zealand anymore. That I haven't shorted the Aussie New Zealand. I don't play it on the short side since about a year ago. That's so very 2014, Mashari. These are value traps down here. I look at it on the long side. Catherine said, I went to hear Varoufakis speak here last night. She's in the UK. It was fascinating, but the stories he was telling left me even more bearish the euro. I sat next to his wife and had a chat with her too, a lovely lady, and she looks a bit like your wife. Oh, that's awesome, Catherine. Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm assuming Varoufakis, and if he has to tell some stories, especially behind the scenes, and what has happened in some of those negotiations, I can only imagine. So very, very cool stuff. All right, let's talk a little bit about, well, let's go into the euro dollar. So here's the euro. Let's pull it up. All right, so here's the euro, and we'd been talking, and let's get rid of this quick. Andy had pulled up or he said this, this harmonic pattern that the Garley, and that is a Garley. I mean, that was, we were just looking at, and that's held support, and it's 110, which is obviously a round number. We have 127% extension of this move right here, and that's holding us as support. And so there's a lot of reasons why the euro is supported down here. Okay, now we've been looking for a move to the previous support, current resistance. Okay, previous support, current resistance, and that comes in at 110.85. All right, that's the low right over here. 110.88, 110.87, so 110.85. Paul was looking at 110.88. It's all that quote unquote area. I'd give it even all the way up to 111, which is the support here. As long as the euro stays below 111, the risk is to the downside. If you want to short it, the best place to do that is if you can get up to those levels. The question is, are you going to be able to do so? Because I'm assuming the dollar yen is going to start to find some support soon, but we'll take a look at that here in a bit. All right, so I think they're the same prices as yesterday. 110, major support, resistance, 110.85, 111, and bias is bearish, finally. Okay, finally starting to get some action here. Let's go over the cable. So the pound, the preliminary GDP numbers came in 0.5%. I think the market was looking at 0.6%. Make sure, yeah, 0.6%. But we got 0.5%. So here's the pound dollar. Okay. We know that we have major trendline support coming through here, and it respected it last night. I mean, you can see here's a blue line. We had that drawn since yesterday. We came down, hit support again, 618 retracement. Very, very, very strong support. This is also, if you guys don't recall, this is the extension of the, I'm trying to grab that red line. Yeah, screw it. Okay, so that was the range extension. Okay, I'm just going to delete that now. I don't think we need this up here, and I'll put back that fib. Okay, so the 618 retracement, all of this comes down here, and that makes this low at 153, just mega support. If we break through 153, that's going to be a fairly bearish event, because once we break through 153, it's kind of like the euro dollar breaking through 110. Those are both really really key levels of support, respectively, 110 and for the euro and 153 for the cable. Now the resistance, I mean, if you look at just the last 24 hours worth of movement, the resistance up here is going to be this spike high. Okay, so we can actually take this red line, move it right here. That's resistance now. Even though the price has actually been up there, but we couldn't hold above that. Wicks couldn't hold above that previous support. So that previous support is now resistance. That comes in at 153.68, so 153.70. Now remember, we have data today, a lot of it too, so there's a good chance we could push the envelope either side here, all right? Still in a range environment in the cable. But let's go over to the Swissy. Okay, so here's the Swissy. As you guys know, the Swissy is just pushing pretty major resistance. Previous high over here is 98.42. We're currently trading above that, but we've been as high as 98.48, so it's 98.50. I'll just write 98.50 as being resistance. Beyond that, because we have to imagine that we could go beyond that, the next level of resistance is 99 cents, okay? We have now turned bullish now that we're above that trend line. Remember, this is a big deal right here. If you guys don't know how big of a deal it is, and let's say you missed yesterday's analysis, so if you go over to the weekly and the monthly chart from 2001, okay, we've been waiting for this to happen forever. It's finally happening. Of course, I'm long because I've been waiting for this to happen forever. So we broke through that trend line. Also of this year, from 2015, that's this blue line right here. We have January post Swiss National Bank decision all the way down. Okay, it's breaking out. Also, the next thing, and probably the last trend line we're going to have to be aware of, is this one. Let's go weekly chart. If you go back to 2004, okay, 2004 all the way down, that's going to come in about parity. So really, there's some obstacles up here, but the next obstacle is really going to be, once we start getting above 99 cents, then we get above parity, So there's still some work, actually there's still a lot of work to be done regarding the Swissy, but it's trying. And, today it's 98.50 and 99 cents. Now, support, as I mentioned to you yesterday, as long as we stay above 97.40, there's no reason to be on the short side of this, and even dips are very limited. Even yesterday it was limited to 98. So I'm going to write down 97.40, 98 cents. Yesterday we dipped down to 98 cents and held it. It's very buoyant right now. It is like Paulie said, it's very much like that beach ball. Just that beach ball that's underwater. You're trying to push it and push it and push it underwater, and it's just not going underwater. You just keep sitting on it, pushing it, and then finally you get so tired you let it go and it goes boop, pops out of the water. Okay, that's what we're seeing with the Swissy right now. All right, let's go into the dollar yen. So the dollar yen is extremely weak, and so what Nigel said, there were some Abe's officials said they see no need for further BOJ action now. Weaker yen would undermine consumers' purchasing power. The comments come from a Bloomberg story and pretty much mirror the sentiment of other Japanese officials. If you think about, the BOJ and what they have to do, okay, all right, if they do more quantitative easing, the yen becomes weaker, right? The dollar yen goes higher. The thing about Japan is Japan's a country. It's a country and it's an isolated island in the middle of in the Pacific Ocean. They don't have a whole lot of natural resources, actually none, and they have to import. They have to import a lot of stuff, and so, they have to be really careful to not have too weak of a yen because of their purchasing power. So that all makes a lot of sense to me. All right. So as you can see, the dollar yen's come under a lot of pressure because of that, because of those comments. And of course, I don't have my dollar yen short anymore. I bought yen against other currencies, but that's fine. Okay, you can see that's their major resistance. Support should come into play somewhere around here. So let's figure out where all these levels are from low to high. 38% retracement comes in at 120.20. So 120.20 is support today, right now. Okay. Now, resistance, if you get a rally back to if you can get a rally back to 120.60, what's the high right there? 120.73. So if you can get a rally back to 120.75, that'd be the Greek gods right there. The Greek FX gods. Oh, dollar yen got back to 120.75 and set up for a good short. All right. All right. Suckers. Okay. Anyway, so if we can get a move back up to 120.75, I think that'd be a great place to be on the short side. Really, really nice place if we can get up there. Okay. George says not much conviction in that singing. It is 4:45 in the morning here. It's still, I'm just not in the mood to really sing. That's it. I'm just not in the mood. All right. All right. Let's get over to the Canadian. So the Canadian, really strong, back up to 132. If you guys want to short the Canadian here, I mean, here let me first and foremost say, I still think it's going to 133. All right. So let me just get that out of the way. But from an intraday perspective, if you think that crude oil is going to bounce, yeah, you can short the Canadian here. I think it's going to go higher, personally. So shoot, we have a 618 comes into play right here too. The better play is waiting for a dip to here. The better play is waiting for a dip down to that support right there. So 131.25 is support. Oh shoot, what happened here? Oh, I put this in the wrong area. Dang it. All right, my bad. 120, 20. Yeah, I totally caught that now. Thanks, guys. 120, 75 range. Okay, so support for the dollar Canadian is 120 or 130, 125, 131.25. Okay, resistance for the dollar Canadian. Now, you may go, well, it's 132, but it really is 132.20 because that's a 618 of the bigger move. Okay, so you have the big swooping move down, inverted head and shoulder pattern. 132.20 is probably the bigger resistance today. Okay. Personally, it looks like it's gonna cream right through there. Because crude oil is so weak, but you know, I know what some of you are thinking. You're like, well, why don't I just short it here and put stops above, the resistance? You can do that. Just keep your stops really tight. I wouldn't want to risk a whole lot here if I were you. Okay. Okay. But let's go over to the Kiwi dollar. Mashari said that's Tom DeMark trends that you drew in the dollar Canadian. I respect that guy and his way of trading. When my office was one story away from Tom DeMark's office. So Tom's office was just this. It was above mine. I went into his office looking for him a couple of times, seeing if I could meet him. But he works out of his home. But his support office is there, and his daughter runs the operation there. And but I stopped working at that office because I was sick of getting up at 2:15 in the morning to go into the office. So anyway, but Tom's he's he he's he's good at what he does. Unfortunately, he's been off, for the last couple of years. So anyway, all right, Kiwi. Let's talk about the Kiwi. So the Kiwi, we've got some support here. This trend line support's holding us. So we're seeing a nice consolidation, and let's get rid of this really quick. Okay. And for the Kiwi, I'm still here. I'm just looking. Okay. Let's get rid of this for a second. We don't need that for right now. Okay. Based on this current move, and let's get rid of this. We don't need that either. Okay, so this trend line's intact and it's in play, which is important to know because what that means is this support down here is going to be pretty important. It's the overnight low, 67.53. Let's just call it 67.50. That's important support because if that breaks, 67.50. If that breaks, that's going to shift the Kiwi lower. Upside resistance is still, it's right here at 68.50. I don't know if we're going to make it all the way up there today, but I think if we made it up there, you have to just take it as a gift from the gods. I'll spare you right now, but okay, 68.50, and we're in range. Okay. All right. So anyway, the Kiwi it's 68.50. I just don't think we're going to see it. I don't think we're going to get all the way up there, but if we do, just it's a gift. Any move up here, it's a gift. Um, let's take a look at the Aussie really quick. We can do that one quickly. All right. So here's the Aussie. Aussie's still stuck between that 73 and 72 cent level. I mean, you can see the range is so tight. So tight. There's nothing to do right now on the Aussie. You sell any rally to 73 cents and then you buy a dip at 72 cents. That's just how you trade it currently. You don't do anything with it right now. I mean, I'm short the Aussie, but just keep in mind I was short from 2 Fridays ago. And even though they changed my cost average, but my cost average is like up here from last week, somewhere over here. Okay, but I don't think trading it right now. Yeah, you just short it here and buy it down here. If you're short, you might want to cover down here, and if you're looking to get long, you buy down here, and if you're looking to get short, you short it at 73 cents. I think that's what you do for now. All right, when we come back, we'll do the dollar index and we'll do some of the other majors. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back in a few moments. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You were listening to the Morning Edge webinar. Let's talk about the dollar index. So let's take a step back a little bit about the dollar index and see what we're really dealing with here. And this is the daily chart, okay? And you guys know that with the daily chart, with the dollar index, this is what it looks like. I still, for the life of me, I really can't understand where the dollar bearishness comes from for people that are dollar bears. This is Elliott wave terms, you would call this like this correction of flat. Okay, in chart pattern terms, you call this a bull flag pattern or a pennant. I don't understand where I don't understand where all this the dollar bearishness, like the dollar has peaked. Like I don't get it. I don't understand, and I don't and I look at like the monthly chart of the dollar index. Actually, I have to do it this way. Here, I look at the monthly chart of the dollar index, and I have to remind myself, and I have to remind you guys constantly by doing this, that let's go over to the monthly chart, that not only did we, not only are we in a bullish pattern all the way around, okay? Not only are we in a bullish pattern all the way around, we actually even held breakout points here, okay, to the T. We're in a flag pattern that should result in a move up towards 110. But like, I just don't get it. But a lot of people are like, oh, dollars peaked. It's like, it technically, it's probably the cleanest chart pattern I've seen in a long time, and it's playing out just as you would expect. Okay. Now, have people been right making the assumption that we're in a consolidation? Okay, I can go with that. We're in a consolidation. Here's the weekly chart. We're in a consolidation, but we're nearing probably the end of that consolidation. It could come as early as this week. All right. So the dollar, if it breaks last week's highs, like on Wednesday, you guys do understand that the dollar is on its way to a lot higher levels. Will the Fed be happy about that? Probably not. Will multinationals be happy about that? Probably not. But it is what it is. And if you look at where it has the potential of going, I don't know what happened to my other line there, but you can kind of understand where it's going. We're talking about 112 to 114, right? I mean, it's got a lot of distance to travel. The potential is pretty great, all right? Joe said, could the Fed go negative rates just to offset the dollar strength like the Swiss? I don't think they want to. They're really, I think the Fed's really concerned about asset bubbles, and they want to normalize rates. They want to normalize. Remember, the Fed has been easier, longer than every central bank out there. Remember, the Fed was the first to act during the financial crisis. Okay, first act. All right, let's go. Oh, intraday. All right, so we know that these highs are major. Okay, major, major, major. Roger, Roger, major, major. Hey, oh my gosh, can I show you guys something? Um, you guys know when I make that noise, like the beady 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 beady. You know that noise, right? No, it's the Muppets. It's the beady 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 beady. Yip yip yip. The yipsters, right? You guys remember that? It's too late right now, but I got to show you guys something. Give me a second. Give me a second. Yip 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 yip. Uh-huh. So, oh, where is it? Oh no. Hold on. I have to find them for you. I was laughing my ass off yesterday. I am going to be the Yip Yip Muppets, the Yip Yip Martians. If you guys ever watch Sesame Street, I know a lot of you guys that are not Americans or North Americans, or some of you probably never seen it, but I was laughing my butt off. Yeah, and this is the Yip Yips. Um, Abraham in Egypt says, "Of course I know them. I grew up with Sesame Street. I mean, my father-in-law, who's Greek, and he was a soccer player for the Greek national team back in the 70s, and he didn't speak any English. He came to the United States in 1969, and when he met my wife's mom, and they had kids. Uh, he learned how to speak English watching Sesame Street. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that funny though? Like he learned how to speak English watching Sesame Street. Now he's been here obviously for, you know, 45 years or more, but that's how he originally learned how to speak English, watching Sesame Street and watching the Yip Yip Martians. Yip 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 Yip. I'm going to wear that for Halloween. Not this year, though. It's too late this year. But next year, look out. I'm yipping it around. All right. Resistance for the dollar. 97.30. Support here. Should be very well supported coming into 96.65. 97.30. 96.65. 96.65. 97.30. And thank you guys for correcting me on the dollar Canadian. I reset those decimal points. And we are still in a range, but the dollar index has the potential. The potential. All right, let's take a look at the peso really quick. Yep. Okay. Peso. All right, that's still major resistance right here. And if this stock market gets a little risk averse, that level is going to get hit. So you know what? Let's just mark up these two areas. So, because I can trade the peso now. How exciting is that? Yes, I can. 1670. It's on my screen. 1670. 1635. US dollar, Mexican peso. But just because I can trade it doesn't mean I'm going to. I need a reason. So 1635, 16.70, and we are in a range. Let's take a look at the Norwegian krona. Stocks are rolling over a little bit, guys. Stock market futures are coming down. Look at the Norwegian krona. How bullish is that? I mean, if you look at the weekly chart, I mean, relative strength has almost come back to neutral. It's really, I mean, I don't think there's anything to do with it right now on the US dollar Norwegian krona, but boy, I tell you, thing looks like a decent long soon. Swedish krona. Thanks, Thomas. Thomas says, yeah, there's a link to the Yip Yips. Yeah, if you guys want to watch a link to the Yip Yips, I'll put it in the chat box. For those of you that do not know what they are, thank you, Thomas. Bank says the Rick's Bank is tomorrow. Is it really? Hold on. Well, crap almighty, it is. Yeah, they're expected to keep rates unchanged. 0.35%. Got it. Thank you, Bank. So, yeah, I don't think there's anything really to do because there's a 618 right above here. I don't know if you want to be chasing it after this big of a move. Buying it on a dip would make sense, but you know, obviously a dovish Rick's Bank could put it, you know, put it a lot higher too. So, but I don't know if you want to do anything ahead of the Rick's Bank decision. Thanks for the heads up. Okay, so here you go. Excuse me. All right, there's your bias chart. Let me take some questions. So, going back over to